You're now tuned into Radical Radio with Coach L.
Switch my attitude. I'm so radical. 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 I'm so radical.
Okay. It's your girl, Coach L, welcoming you all to season 4 of the Radical Radio Podcast. In the words of an amazing Black queen, Angela Davis says, radical simply means grasping things at the root. You can't know who you are until you know where you come from. You can't break generational cycles until you acknowledge the cycle. You can't heal until you understand what broke you. Our mission is to motivate and empower others to get to the root of things and to use that information to grow and become unapologetically bold and purposely authentic. If you haven't already, go ahead and go over to www.radicallife.com and you can subscribe to our website as well as go ahead and follow us on all social media platforms. Let's get to it. It's on you, Tasha.
Oh, yeah. Hey, ladies. Yes. So today we are here with Kingdom Chicks Reconstructed, and we are going to be talking about leadership today. I'm going to go ahead and introduce myself. I am Coach Tasha Delk. I am the owner as well as the CEO of Free Me Coaching, and this is where women break free to their true potential. And then I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to the other coaches and the other ladies to introduce themselves. Go ahead, Coach L.
Hello, everybody. I am LaDena Chisum, aka Coach L of Everything Radical. Radical Life is a ministry. It is a ministry that is set to help you to understand being unapologetically bold and purposely authentic. So I am here with, my sisters, and we are talking about Kingdom Chicks Reconstructed, right? We ain't always been like this. So this is a good platform just to talk about the experiences that we've had. So I'm happy to be with my sisters.
Yes. And I am Shonta Joseph, founder of She Wise. She Wise is a platform that you can gain knowledge about yourself and just to make sure that you stay focused and stay with wisdom on your purpose and your walk with Christ. So that's who I am.
Yes, thank y'all so much. Look, I'm so excited to be here. Y'all, we're going to be doing this every week, so make sure that y'all tune in. Make sure that y'all follow us on all the platforms, all different social media platforms. But today we're going to be talking about leadership. And the reason why we're going to be talking about leadership today is because I feel that we are in a time right now where people seriously need leaders, where leadership is at an all-time high. And I think that so many people, they get so used to following the bandwagon that they just, they don't take that step to, step into their leadership. And I think that with all of us in our callings and our purposes and all the different things that we're doing in our lives, it requires us to step into that leadership role. And so the first thing that I want to ask is, do y'all feel like, because last week the last show that we had, we talked about difference and being different and, just not being like everybody else and having that thing that just kind of makes you stand out. Do you feel that we are natural born leaders? Or do y'all feel like, what do y'all feel about that, about leadership? Because that difference, what is it? What do you feel?
Shonta, you want to go? Or I'll go because she was still on mute. Trey, we miss you too. Thank you. But listen, we are missing one of our Kingdom chicks, so we got to give a shout out to Tremayne Winn, aka the Save Bay. Since we miss you, we can't wait till you join us next week. But to answer your question, I would say yes. I do believe that I have always been a natural born leader. I've always been set apart. I've always went against the grain. So, you know, if everybody rocking Jordans, I would definitely find like some Diodoras to rock. People probably don't even know what Diodoras are, but I would just find something that's very odd that everybody ain't rocking, just for the simple fact that I wanted to do something different and lead in my own way. So I do believe I have natural leadership capabilities.
Well, for me, like what choice do you have when you're the oldest of 5? Like, so that's my background history. As far as in like walking into leadership, I really didn't have a choice. And as I was growing and just coming into my own identity, I didn't want, like, I was like kind of competitive in a way. Like, I don't want to be like them. I want to do my own thing, especially with modeling. You have to be like different. You have to have a different type of look to be like you got to be that sore thumbnail out of the bunch to be noticed sometimes. And that's always been me. So like definitely unique, different. As far as in leadership, I know how to structure at times. Like, you know, as a kid, I was very bossy, but you know, you just construct that, you tweak that out a little bit and you learn how to, you know, be a leader. So yeah.
Absolutely. No, I feel like, so for me, I will have to say, because I'm like the middle child. So from, I have like lots of brothers and sisters from my dad's side. So y'all know it's a lot of us. And so I am more so like that middle. And I think like I feel like I've been the glue between like my siblings, you know, because I'm probably the one that talks to like everybody. So I feel like for me, I've just kind of always been different. And that difference is because I have been a leader. And sometimes I think that it takes us, you know, it takes us a lot more we go through a lot more as leaders in our lives and throughout the things that we, you know, experience in life, you know. So that's like also one of my questions that I do want to ask. Do y'all feel like leaders, do y'all feel like being a leader, do you have to experience more? Do you go through more things like hardships? What type of things do you go through? And I know it's more so spiritual. Like I want to get into that spiritual aspect of the things that we have to go through and encounter and experience throughout our walk, because we are called to leadership, because we are called to be different, to be set apart, to stand up, you know. So what y'all think about that, Coach L?
I'm gonna let Shonta go because I don't want to be long-winded.
Me too.
Look, I think
that's
a
why
good
I'm trying to keep
one.
it like, oh.
I think that's a good question, because I think that
it's a magnificent question.
I think that we fail to realize what it takes to be a leader. And, you know, because it takes a lot. It takes for you to have to you got to build up so much courage. You got to build up so many different things. And then also you have to be able to know who you are and be challenged in different areas of self in order to be the leader that you're really called to be. So I think that is just a really good question on just, you know, the things that we have to experience just as leaders. And then if you want to go into a scenario of some things that you've had to experience throughout your life because of your leadership, or because of you being set apart and being different, like what is some things that you've had to experience?
It's definitely different being a leader, first and foremost, because you have so many responsibilities compared to somebody that's just being led. As far as like the first, like obviously with my siblings, I had to be that leader of the like making sure that I'm the great role model. And obviously I failed in different areas, but I still had to make sure that, you know, being the oldest, you have to have a certain type of maturity on you. So it comes with a lot of different categories. But obviously you are going to get challenged. Like you getting looked up to. You're like either idolized in a certain type of way. You're being looked at as a role model, and being a leader, like it should be something that another person can take from you and learn from you. So yes, you will be challenged. Then I had a daughter, so it's like you have to make sure that your daughter looks at you a certain type of way, how you carry yourself, how you go about life, how you do certain things. Like that was another sense of leadership. And now I'm in a position in my life where I'm leading the people that surround me, and also strangers, like, you know, people that I know that I had the experience, and the experiences what made me a leader, like what caused me to be or have these different characteristics to build on the leadership, if that makes sense. So it's like, yes, I've been through that, sis. I can help you. I can help guide you. You're going to make your own choice, obviously, but you know, with being a leader, you have to be wise. Overall, you have to be wise. And it's definitely challenging, because it's some days where the enemy, and even yourself, you can come against yourself and not showing leadership because you think that you're something that you really are, but you know, you think the opposite of. And then you have people that would challenge you from the outside, and it's like, okay, you know, you just cut me, and I got the kids in the back, so I can't cuss you out type stuff. You know, it's just different things that challenges you in your leadership, but you have to, you know, have a sense of control. And you have to have, yeah, you have to have control in being in leadership.
Self-control, yes.
Yeah, self-control,
Yep,
absolutely.
that's self-control.
Yeah, to be a idolized leader, if that makes sense. So yeah.
Absolutely.
I love it. You hit a lot of good points. I will say currently, like, here's the thing with leadership. You know, a lot of people look at you where you are currently, right? So they'll look at what you're doing. They'll look at the fact that, you know, you have She Wise, that you have Free Me Coaching, that Trey got the Save Bay, but they don't realize like what you had to endure to get there. And for me, I've always understood servant leadership. I'm not just a leader, I am a servant leader. There is a very big difference in being a leader and being a servant leader. In order for you to be a true leader, in this is me, in my opinion, you have to learn how to serve. Once you can serve other people and you can serve at the lowest level, then you can serve at the highest level. So, you know, anybody that's serving needs to learn how to lead. If you're going to lead, you need to learn how to serve. So just for an example, in ministry right now, you know, there may be people that look at, you know, what I'm doing in ministry, but they don't realize that I served and I still serve. Like, I'm not above or beneath cleaning the toilets. I'm not above or beneath painting the sanctuary. I'm not above or beneath, you know, serving my apostles. I serve. And that's helped me become a better leader. And you do take a lot for that. So I find myself a lot of times explaining the fact that, hey, when I first started, I had to learn. I had to ask questions. I had to sit and watch and be taught. I didn't just get here. Like I really like desired to be here. Even in leadership, sometimes we have to be careful as leaders to, I'm gonna go in the spiritual aspect, to seek God. Because as a leader, you'll be like in my workplace sometimes, like, I'm a natural born leader. That's why they hired me. They knew once I did the interview that I was a leader. So they wanted somebody that could get in and lead, right? But sometimes I have to check myself and I have to seek God, because in my leader, you know, capabilities, I'm like, okay, we could do this in a whole nother way. And it could be more beneficial in this way. But I also have to seek God, because it's not always time for us to talk. this is not my business. So I have to still seek God on how to still be that leader, but also serve in the capacity and the assignment that he has me in. People look at you and they feel as if you're one way when you are totally not that way. Oh, well, I thought thought you was this, or I thought you thought, and key word is you thought. You never got to know me. You never asked me, you don't know what I've been through, but you just assumed I'm a certain way because unfortunately, when you're a leader, it exudes from you. You can't take it away. It's like you have a light on you. Your light is going to shine no matter how much you try to dim it. If you have that light is going to shine, right? So people seem to think that they know you by what they've perceived of you in their own mind, but they really don't know you. And that's why, like, even with this platform, I'm huge on getting to hear people's stories. I'm huge on watching like different interviews of rappers, because if you perceive a rapper by what he's saying in his lyrics, you're not going to know him or her at all. If you listen to their interview, you'll get to learn a lot more about them and really know them by their story and not by their lyrics, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, that's true. That make a lot of sense. But also, Shonta, something that you said about like not knowing yourself, or like not, I think that it's when you don't know who you are, or when people, even like you said, LaDena, when people try to perceive you for who they want to perceive you. Oh, I thought you was better. Or I thought you was this. Like, because as leaders, you got to be able to shut out the noise, because people are gonna, and then also just even like cutting out the noise, but also knowing that not everybody is going to follow you. Not everybody is going to support you. Not everybody is going to see what you're doing as the work that you're actually putting in.
Right.
So as leaders, how do y'all silence the noise? Like, how do you silence the noise, and how do you keep pushing past the fact that, people are not going to follow you? Because that's something that I had to like overcome, was like, I'm doing all this good stuff, and I know we're in a time where people just want to be entertained, and they don't really want to support people who are really doing something or trying to make a difference in somebody's lives. I said before, like, I'm the type of person that I want to see everybody do good. I want to see everybody grow to, be that inspiring person that they are, to see themselves later and be like, dang, 3 years ago I was this way, but look at where I am today. Because ultimately, it's like, I feel like everybody should be on their journey to grow and to do better and to become better. So it's like, how do you block out the noise, and then of people who are going to be negative, that negative talk, and then also, with the support, you're not going to get the support that you think that you should get, or you feel that you should get, especially if you're a supporter.
Right. For me, I have to fast if I cannot hear God. If it's a blockage, like if I need to talk to God about something and I cannot hear, and if it's too much stuff going on, I have to fast. And it's fasting from food, it's fasting from TV, whatever the case may be. Like, a fasting is a must with leadership. I believe that's my opinion. In order to hear God clearly. The second something else that I do is making sure that, like, I just remind myself who I am by also reading the word. I have my husband to give me confirmation of who I am, and also I'm understanding that everybody is not called to me. Like, everybody is not supposed to, like, it's okay. If that makes sense. And I'm okay with knowing that, because I don't want to lead you somewhere that I can't, like, it's a dead destination. So, like, where God has connected me, or the people that God has connected me with, I know it's purpose and it's, it's prosperity with that. I can't lead you or guide you if you're not supposed to be here. So if you're not supposed to be here, it's okay. Like, it's cool. So yeah, that's
real.
That's real. To ditto what you said, sis, like, everybody got their own tribe. Everybody got their own tribe. Everybody don't understand radical. Everybody ain't radical. You know what I'm saying? And it's okay with me, I try not to say things like, we get to the point where we be like, we don't care what people think. No, I don't care what people think, but I try not to say that, because if you love someone, you have to care about what they think. You know what I'm saying? But not in a way where it's gonna deter me from being who God has called me to be.
Right.
So even in that respect, like, I'm gonna be who God has called me to be at all times. I can't concern myself with, whether or not you agree, whether or not you're gonna be for me. Blocking out the noise for me is just having tunnel vision. Like, I'm on assignment. I know what it is. I got to keep my eyes focused on what God is calling me to do. If I find myself in positions where I'm being pulled and I'm not focused on what I'm supposed to be doing, then I have to make sure that I'm getting back in that position. Posture of prayer. Stay in the posture of prayer. We cannot be, a lot of times I'm very loyal. I'm a loyal person, right? So when I know that God is removing people, it hurts me to my core. Like, I be trying to hold on, I be like, it hurts me. It really bothers me. And I have to get to that place where I'm like, okay, Lord, I see you plucking and I see you taking away. Like, I just gotta be okay with that. You know what I'm saying? And it's not always easy. So in order to block out the noise, you just gotta be okay with the fact that if you're moving in God's direction, you moving in the right direction. And that's just it. That's just it.
Absolutely. That's so good. That's so good, because I think that's the season that I've been in, is that God is shifting me and plucking people. And it's like that separation period, and I know that everybody have to go through that separation period, especially when you're on your journey. And it's, people like to call it like isolation. You're isolating yourself from everybody, but it's really like growing in the Lord.
Right.
It's like spending that quiet time and being able to take that time to really advance, because you know what, we don't even really understand, like, the only way to remain humble. Okay, because I'm about to go into my next question.
Give it to us, sis.
Because when God starts separating people and plucking people and hiding you and getting you prepared for him and doing all these different things, right? How do you stay humble as a leader, right? How do you stay humble with what's coming? Because you know what's coming next, right? So y'all know where I'm going. So what's coming next. How do you remain humble with the blessings and the things that's getting ready to, pour out? Because a lot of times it's right before that big blessing comes, right before everything starts breaking loose, right before you start walking into everything that God really has for you. You have to go through that period of separation. You got to see who's there for you, because one of my friend's husband, my best friend's husband, he said, if you go through something for like 1 or 2 days, everybody that's in your circle is still gonna be in your circle. Right. But if you go through something long enough, you start to really see who people are. You really get to see, right? So when you go through that and you go through that pruning and you go through that stripping and you go through all those things that you go through, because God is raising you up as a leader, so he's going to have to break some things off of you.
Come on.
How do you remain humble, as you getting ready to, as you keep walking and you see all the things that God is getting ready to bestow upon you? And then also just, because I know that you all are, well, as far as you, Coach L, I know that you are a lot more seasoned in your walk as far as leadership goes, where I think, I'm still fairly new, so how do you remain humble with that? And, just
listen, it goes back to what I said. Like, I serve. I'm a servant leader. Like, I still serve. I don't care what you need me to do. Like, I will still serve in the kingdom. I will still serve God's people.
Right.
I'm never going to be above serving,
Yeah.
And not only that, like, I'm big on always remember, and I can never forget, because listen, I know who I used to be, and I was like, there is no way that you asking me, like, I still can't believe it. I'm gonna keep it a buck. Sometimes I still be like, girl, I know you ain't finna get up there and preach, because I didn't see it. I never saw it.
Yeah.
So I never forget where I came from. I never forget how far God brought me. And I'm so thankful and so blessed to be able to be used, like, as a vessel for him.
Yeah.
Like, never thought. So yeah, that's it.
That's good. That's good.
To piggyback on what Coach L said, it is, for me, to be humble is being very transparent with the people. Like, it's a level of transparency. Obviously, as a leader, there's some things that, just to remain the respect. But as far as in being transparent, like God told me that I was going to get married and everything like that, but I don't have to share that information of the things that I learned to get to, to get to that place, or even in the marriage and starting off. Hey sis, you want to get married, do this, or I send stuff and I'll have conversations just to support, because yes, I went up a level, but it doesn't mean that you can't. And it doesn't mean that I want you to stay in this position. So for me to be humbled is me showing you transparency and helping you get there if that's what you desire. Like, I don't hold anything back, if that makes sense. Like, I don't hold information back.
That's good.
As a leader, I think, like, that's the point of being a leader. You're helping, guiding, directing. So it's like, if I got it, ain't no way you're not supposed to get it. So
that's hard.
That's how I see that, being transparent.
Absolutely.
That's real good. Transparent. I say transparency saves lives. Like, if you can keep it a buck. And one thing I gotta credit my apostle. He always say, if you can tell the truth, that means that you free. If you be honest about something, that means that you're still in bondage somewhere. Like, if you're not free enough to be transparent about what you have endured, then you're still in bondage, so absolutely. Being transparent and being free is a good thing,
because people gotta know that as a leader, like, it's okay to see that you're not perfect, because a lot of people, they look at leadership as perfect and they don't know wrong and they can't have nothing happen to them, and that's like, oh no, that's so not true. Because when you get in this position, you gotta be able to understand what you're going against and the demons and the battles that you're gonna have to face. So, like, so not true. So not true.
Transparency is something that I feel like has truly helps me, to be able to grow. And it's like the more that I share with people, the more that I talk to people, the more it allows me to grow, and then also, so for me, how, like, to remain humble is definitely staying close to God, staying in prayer, and just making sure, like you said, LaDena, just making sure that I'm always reflecting. Something that's real big for me is reflection. And I think that a lot of times, a lot of people, we don't reflect. We don't take the time to just sit down and reflect. I just had to go through a situation where I was able to see how strong I actually was, even in that moment, and just being like, oh, dang, and just taking that time of reflection. So for me, I think that's something that allows me to be able to grow and as a leader. So how do we lead? I know, LaDena, you said being a servant leader, but in other ways, what other ways do you lead? Like Shonta, like how you talked about, being able to be transparent and really share everything. So just being open and honest and sharing. So what other ways do y'all lead people? And like in any type of way, in your coaching, in life, in your family, what other type of ways do you show up as a leader?
I truly believe in meeting people where they are. Somebody had to meet me where I was at. On this journey, I had to be met where I was at. Meeting people like where they are doesn't mean that you agree with what they're doing, right? But it means that you have enough understanding that they're not where God has for them to be just yet. I'm very big on not hijacking someone's process. I had to learn that with my own children because I always, like you said, reflect on who I used to be and what I've gone through. Because if God could do it for me, he could definitely do it for my kids without a shadow of a doubt. So even though they're going through the things that they're going through in life right now, I do not hijack their process. Hey, you might have to go to jail. You understand what I'm saying? Like you might have to, get that ticket. You might have to lose that job. But at the end of the day, guess what? Mama didn't been through all this stuff. So I know that what didn't kill me made me stronger. And it was a part of my process. I had to endure those things so that I knew what to do on the other side of them. So I just believe in meeting people where they are and not hijacking anybody's process. Everybody has to go through a process. A process is a series of steps or actions taken to achieve a particular end. There's no shortcuts. You gotta go through a process in every area of your life, period.
Absolutely. And everybody has their own process and we got to be able to, and that's something that I was telling my husband like the other day. It's just, everybody has their own process, even though you be like, how can they keep doing this? How can they keep having these same situations and going through the same thing? Yeah. It's just that they struggle ain't your struggle. They struggle ain't your struggle. It's what they go through and what you had to go through. So it's like that experience is different. And I think that also being able to extend that grace is something that we have to be able to have is to get grace. Because it's easy, like just think about, like you said, Coach L, if somebody didn't give you that opportunity, if somebody didn't give you that grace, if somebody didn't meet you where you were, you wouldn't be standing here today. And just like all of us, if God didn't, look at us and look over our faults and things like that, if he saw us in those faults and forgave us, like, we got to be able to extend that same grace to people. So that's real. That's real.
Absolutely.
Let me say, hey, okay, so Debrion is on here. Hey,
my cousin.
Thank you for joining us. We got Andrea's on here. We got Keisha on here. We definitely have Fishes of Men on here. Hello, everyone. And we have Avancia. Avancia. I said it right. Thank you all for joining us. We appreciate you guys coming in.
Yes. But in other ways that I lead also is just allowing people to, be themselves. I think that a lot of people come around me and they can be themselves. They can be themselves around me. Yes. And I think I just have this light that just people just want to reveal themselves to me, even things that they may not want to share with other people. They just be like, I've never told anybody this. Even people that I meet for the first time, it's like, I've never expressed this to anybody else. I've never told this to anybody else. And I think it's just like creating that safe space and allowing people to know that they could be who they are. And that was one thing for me that I needed. I think that I did not get a lot was that people allowing me to be myself, and a lot of times. So in leadership, has there ever been a time where you felt like you had to not just like be trained by somebody, but that you followed up behind somebody because you didn't know who you were?
I think it's always a period or a time like that, especially when God is calling you to be somebody that you never been before and it's different. And so like you're like, okay, I don't really know how to identify this. I don't know how to walk in this. So definitely like for me, like I'm just now starting She Wise. It hasn't been a year yet, but prior from this, I've been hiding behind my husband. because my husband does this stuff, and I'm like, you know, I'm a people's person. I'm down to earth, but the things that he would do, I'm like, I don't, you know, like me. He would tell me all the time, but I definitely had that encouragement from him to let him, like, he was letting me know, like, our purpose is matched. So the things that I'm doing, you're gonna be doing the same thing. And I'm looking at him like, so then you go to church and you get prophesied that you're gonna be leading women and teaching women. I'm like, me? Y'all sure? I'm like, oh, you talking to you? But no, seriously, I think that just comes with not really knowing you and not really knowing who you are as of yet. But you can't run from it. You can't go away from it. So you gotta walk in that thing.
Yeah, you definitely just what, you know, kind of like what Shantae is saying. In the beginning, when, you know, it's like you understand, like when you first find your purpose. When I first, you know, when God first revealed my purpose to me, it was like, okay, I get that, you know, I understand that. But then it's like when the purpose was coaching, right? So I'm like, okay, cool, I can do that. That was easy because I talk to people all the time. But listen, when you hear God say, you know, hey, I'm calling you, well, what are you calling me to? You know, what are we talking about here? Like, are you talking about, you know, singing in a choir? Like, what are you talking about? Like evangelism? I can do that, you know, that's easy. But when it's like a whole deeper level of a calling, you like, what in the world? Like, I never, and at that time it was I said yes, but I really didn't know what I was. I could be honest and say, I don't know what I was saying yes to.
Yes.
I knew that I was saying yes to God, you know, but now, like, as I'm in it now, I know, like, yo, you saying yes to whatever. Yes, to, he can use you whenever, however, for whatever. You know what I mean? Like, that's what you're saying yes to. So I would say in the beginning of this journey, I was let me tell you what was hard for me. Jesus, now we got to be. I was still smoking weed, y'all. So, like, I'll never forget one of my sisters. I went to visit her and we went to church, y'all. And I, like, literally still had some weed in my purse. And I'm going to get offering. And she like, what the what? And I'm like, oh, dang. So I remember her telling me, like, sis, look, you're going to have to get this under control because you don't want somebody to, you know, prophesy to you, and you know you're gonna have people. And I remember telling her at that point, like, look,
this where I'm at.
They know what's up. Like, I can only be who I am. Like, no, they will be on point if they prophesied it. Anyway, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, no, they just gonna have to meet me where I'm at. Like, I'm not gonna sit and act like
you something that
I've been delivered from this, because I haven't been delivered from this. And I haven't even, at that time, I hadn't even asked God to deliver me from it. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, yo, hey, he told me we doing this thing, but hey, it's some things that he still has to help me with, right? So I remember during that time just kind of being conflicted, because I'm like, did you really call me? Because I'm still smoking weed. And I don't got no plans of stopping right now. So you sure? No. You know what I'm saying? Like,
authentic. Yeah, I love it.
So, hey, just keeping it a buck. It was really some things that I was like, I don't know if this is where I'm going, where I'm supposed to be. Did I really hear you say what you said? And he confirmed it.
Tell me 5 more times. Tell me 5 more times.
Yep. He confirmed it every time. Like, nah, you.
Yeah. And God is so personal.
Yeah.
He's so personable, you know, and it's just like everybody has their own relationship, and we have to be able to also remain open to that, like not being judgmental and not judging people. But you can help them, you know, by talking to them and bringing them to church, and, you know, and just sharing different things. And then also by your walk, you know, and how you walk.
Yeah.
I just want to quickly say, Coach LaDena, you're not alone. No, but seriously,
Hallelujah.
like, prior from even doing She Wise, like, I was having like anxiety, stress, and I'm like, and especially during the pandemic time. So I would smoke every once in a while. And then when I got called to do certain stuff, I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna do it. And then like I believe like God literally changed my desire for even thinking or wanting, like it wasn't even an option. Like I'm not like I'm gonna smoke when I get home, or I know I got it. Like it literally was just like God really, once you walk with him, he's gonna work it out. You can't really do stuff yourself. Your flesh wants what your flesh want, but when you walk with what God is telling you to do, he know how to do that. And I'm a living testimony. He can do it while you're in process. While you're in process, you would not even think to be like you know how some people like I can't stop smoking, I can't stop drinking, but it's like just do what you were called to do. And I promise you, like I always heard stories like that, and I'm like, okay, but no. Like no, I can be stressed out and still do not go to weed or smoke. Like it's just done. It's for me. I don't have a taste in my mouth for it no more.
And I do believe, I don't know, I guess this is why this came up. Praise God, because, and this is encouragement to you. You know, literally, God can and he will. If he don't want you to have it, he'll take it away from you. If it's going to block what he has for you and where he's taking you, he will remove it from you. He will do it. Same thing with Shantae. He, you know, I've been delivered, and I thank God for it, because I'd be like, look, I don't do that. But guess what I do? I make sure that even with me being delivered from smoking marijuana, I make sure my kids smoke, but I make sure that they don't smoke around me. You know, I make sure that if I'm going to be around where somebody's smoking, hey, I'm in and out. All right, I'll see you later. Not, and the crazy thing is, I could be around it. If you smoking, I could be around you, and it don't bother me, because I've been delivered from it.
No,
and I allowed God to do what he was doing in my life, period. You know, so it can be done.
You're right.
Absolutely. It can be. But when you talked about saying yes to God, you know, and being a leader. So when you say yes, you know, a lot of times we don't understand what that yes means, you know, and I think that I am like, I'm still kind of living that out, because I didn't know when I said yes, you know, leaving that hair salon, leaving that hair business, I'm like, yes. And I'm instantly thrown into the process. Like you don't get okay, we gonna start the process. Right. You know, we're going to start the process in a couple months. Like, no, you get thrown right into the process. And I think that, you know, we don't really understand what that yes mean. And it's like, it's a sacrifice to yourself, sacrifice to what you want. It's a sacrifice to your own desires, because you really is going straight into whatever it is that God want, whatever, however, whoever, how, what, any type of way. And God really will do that to us. And I think like even just kind of walking into my leadership now, I'm still fairly new. Sonny, relax. Sorry, y'all know my kids here. But we really don't understand that process. And it's like, soon as you say yes to God, you go into that process. And it's like my situation from coming from hair, coming into walking into my leadership, like right now, is something that I have been like, it's a process. God has been pruning me to, you know, really like look at my heart, really see what my heart look like. And even in the circumstances that I have been in over this past year, it has been tough. This hasn't been, you know, it hasn't been an easy transition. And it's like, so as I'm continuously growing, I'm learning so many different things about myself. So what is something that you truly learned about yourself throughout your leadership process, throughout your growth process, throughout that time that God was pruning you and growing you up to be the leader that he's calling you to be?
Well, let me listen. In 2018, I was homeless for probably about 6 or 7 months. And I remember, you know, living in the Motel 6, paying $50 a night, right? And I remember God saying to me, keep doing those videos. And I'll never forget the day, like, I did this video. I used to get up at like 4 or 5 in the morning and I was outside and I did this video and I'm looking back and I see all these blue doors. And I'm like, God, I can't do this video. All these doors behind me. Like, they gonna know I'm in a hotel. Like, I don't want to do this right now. And he was like, listen, I need you to go ahead and I need you to do this video. It was a very, very humbling experience for me. Very humbling. And when I tell you, to be a mother, and I had my 2 boys with me at the time, and to have gone through that situation and have my boys with me, like, I've always been a strong woman and a strong provider. And we never, we always lived in our own place. And, we never had I thought that we would fall on those type of hard times. Like, it was days where I was like, look, we going to get a $5 pizza and y'all gonna eat and I'm cool. You know what I'm saying? Because I was trying to go through beauty school at the time. So it was a very humbling experience going through and being homeless. I'll never forget when I talk about being a servant leader, and when I talk about how I tell people that when I first got in ministry, I served. Like, I remember being homeless, making sure, hey, I'm getting up, I'm going to church, making sure, if something needed to be done at the church, that I was the one, I was one of the people volunteering. I remember my son, during that time that we were homeless, the Holy Spirit woke me up one Sunday, and he said, your son is going to church with you. And I woke him up and I said, look, you got to get up. You got to go to church with me. And he like, what? And I'm like, yeah, bro, you got to go to church. And I'll never forget the day we went to church. My apostles, they are seers. So my son walked in and, my apostle Tony, he read him down, and he was like looking at me like, Ma, you told them people how old I was? You told it. I said, son, I ain't told you nothing. Now, what I did do was I prepped him, because I told him, I said, listen, this is non-denominational. This ain't nothing like what we ever seen in the Baptist church. So it's going to be a little different for you, So he went in, they prophesied on him. Next thing I know, my son, bam, he on the floor. I'm like, whoa, kid you not. That boy got in the car with me and looked over at me. He said, Mom, now how I get on the floor? Because I was on the floor. He said, I need you to tell me how I got on that floor. Because I was definitely on the floor. But when I tell y'all, in even being homeless, it was the most humbling experience, the best experience that we could have gone through within that process, because number one, it drew us closer to God. And my son got saved during that time and gave his life to Christ. So yeah, that was a challenge, but I wouldn't change it for the world.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
For me, can you just repeat the question one more time? Because I want to make sure that I, stay on point.
Yeah, no, I was asking, what is something that you've gone through that has challenged you as God has been, molding you to be the leader that you are? What is something that you've experienced, or what's something that God has revealed to you about yourself?
God has revealed to me about myself with leadership is that I'm stronger than what I think I am. And the reason why I say that, because like, I was a teen mom. I didn't know how I was going to come out of that. I didn't know what life was going to be after that. I was like struggling really hard in that process. Like a teen mom, it was just tough. But at the same time, as I think about it now, I'm like, it really wasn't all that bad. Like it would, like the process that I went through, but I know that experience is going to be used to help other people as well. So it's like I had to endure what I had to endure to help other people. And in this season right now, I'm being challenged as the wife, because I've never been a wife before. So now it's making sure that I understand that my husband is leading, and the single mom me, the leader of me in that way, has to be humbled enough to let her husband lead and to direct this shit, if that makes sense. And so even in that, being humble, I didn't think I was going to be able to, take the concept, and we still have our struggles, but it doesn't change the fact that I'm still in it and I'm still surviving it. Like I'm not going anywhere right now. So he has shown me that I'm really stronger than I really believe I am, and that if I stick with him and I put him in the center of everything, then
Absolutely.
I can come out of it. Like those big things that may seem big at that moment, but after all of it is done, it's like I got through that.
Yeah.
I really got through that. Like it doesn't hurt right now. It doesn't, like, I don't feel like, it humbles you. You're like, yeah, that was a crazy time, but look where I'm at today.
Yeah.
So that's just the perspective that I have about that.
Yeah. No, that's so good. That's so good. Both of y'all had like some really good things. I think like for me, it's definitely just, coming through this hard time. I'm excited to eventually be able to share my story. With everything that my husband and I have experienced over this past year, 2 years, whatever. It truly has not been easy, but one thing that I will say is that God will really put you through so much to really just build up your endurance and just the things that you're going to go through. So I feel like the reason that I had to go through so much is because I got to be strong enough for where I'm going.
Oh, yes, Lord.
And, it's a lot of times is I think that we fail to realize that our experiences aren't for who we are right now. They're for who we're getting ready to be, who God is calling us to be.
Yes.
And so God is doing so much in my life, y'all. And, it has, sometimes I like today, I just woke up and I'm just like, wow, just thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. And it's just like, we really look at circumstances and you just be like, dang, I don't see no way out of this. But it's just like, look at you today, still surviving. Look at everything that we've gone through and we're still here today, surviving, still saying, yes, I can do it. I can go another day. I literally had to tell God like a little bit ago, like, God, I don't know how much longer. I don't know what you're doing. I don't know when, but look, baby, this ain't gonna work.
Yeah.
But it's just like, as even in that, it's like God is like, okay, keep going. Hold on a couple more days and a couple more days and a couple more days, and then even a couple more after that and a couple more after that. So it's just like we have to continue to, think about that, the things that we go through, and just being humble. So LaDena, you said just always being able to be humble and never forgetting where you've come from. Like that is so huge. And it's just like, I just had a conversation with my husband. I was like, when did I get so, like, because like I said, we do reflection all the time. And I'm just like, when did I get so blindsided by certain things, right? And it's just like I had to come to a remembrance the other day. It's like the blessing is right in front of you. Yeah. The blessing is right in front of you. And I think a lot of times is we miss that. And so Shonta, with you saying that, coming from being an independent mom to now being a wife, that is exactly who I was.
Yeah.
So it was like, I didn't want my husband to do everything. I'm like, I could do it. No. And then he's just like, let me do this, and then I'm just like, oh, okay, I don't have to do it all.
Yeah.
I'm just now realizing. So like, even in that, what do y'all feel about leadership in marriage? Because there is times that we have to lead in certain things, but there's also things that our husbands are leader over. And how do you guys, so Shonta, I know you kind of talked about it a little bit, but just like leadership in marriage, how do y'all feel about that?
I desire the leadership
aspect, from my husband. I desire to allow him to lead. A lot of people, I talk about this a lot because I know that the roles are so reversed, and every female out there is, I say Lil Boosie messed us up because INDE. No, that's not the way that was supposed to be. It wasn't supposed to go that way. And society has gotten us to the point where, we feel like we have to be alpha, or, that we have to be strong. Jonathan McReynolds has a song and it's called Strong is Overrated. And I love, that's one of my favorite songs because it is overrated. Like, you ought to want to move out the way and let your husband lead you. You ought to want that, because that means that you are able to be in the position of what God has intended you to be, which is the help meet. We are not, we are not supposed to be the ones to do it. We are supposed to help them. My apostle, Mama J, she say this all the time. Women are birthers. We are birthers. So there are things that we are designated for to help our husbands, to birth out of our husbands, not in a weird way like a mom, birth to their child. You know what I'm saying? But I have to say that because people be weird. But, just we are birthers, we're nurturers, we help in guiding, we help in planning, we help in, moving and operating in purpose. So those are the things that we should want and desire.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
You hit it on the head with that one, but just understand, like, I literally started She Wise with the project of going in the Bible and going over each woman of the Bible just to see where we come from, because it didn't just start with us.
Right.
Drama, conflict, my baby mama, baby daddy, that stuff didn't just start with us. It started all the way back. And when I tell you that the Bible can be messy, I did not know it was messy like that until myself.
Some ratchetness going on in the Bible.
Okay, real ratchet. Love and hip hop. Yes. But seriously, like that's how God started the whole project off, as far as in the brand She Wise, just to see where we come from and how this was orchestrated from the beginning. Yeah. So when I realized, like, okay, I'm married now and I have to let him lead to be the man that he's supposed to be in this household. Like, he is the head. But it doesn't change my position of making me feel weaker or making me feel unvalued. Like, he could be the head, but I'm the neck. We gotta move, or we gotta turn this way. Like, I'm your helpmate. I'm holding the head up. So when we look at it in that perspective, and not like not in a like an authority, like, I don't know how to explain it, because obviously the authority be looked at different things, but the generation is jacked up. You are supposed to help, and being a helpmate is actually the toughest job you can have. Like, it's actually hard. Yeah. Good. Because it's just harder. You gotta understand where you have to be humble at. You gotta understand emotion. You gotta really lead yourself, if anything, in order to be like you think like it's just the leadership role with your husband, but no, you're actually leading yourself. And if you don't lead yourself, then you can lead your house to destruction. You can either build it up or you can tear it down. So when you realize that you play a major part in this whole orchestra, this structure, then you will know that your role is just as important. But it takes two in a marriage. It's not just him. He has to have help. He has to have eyes and making sure that, he's good and going in the direction. And even when that time comes, when the roles can potentially switch, because sometimes that does happen. Absolutely. But just to make sure that you know that he is the head. Absolutely. So
absolutely. Yes, that's true. And I feel the exact same way. Like, that's why I say it was hard for me, because I came from being an independent woman, having 2 kids and having a business and, doing hair all types of hours. And, you really got to be able to, check yourself. Like, so that's real. And then also you gotta stand to be corrected. You know, that was one of the things that I always I stress so much, because as a wife, you gotta stand to be corrected. In any marriage, I mean, you know, you gotta stand to be corrected. You know, husband
in
or wife. But in
leadership,
period, you know, and it's just like that was something that I had to experience. Like I said, I wanted to do everything, and I was telling my husband not to, but it came a time when I got pregnant and I couldn't do anything, and all I had to. So you know, God will get you right real
right on down.
right. You
He like, let me help you.
Look, you know,
I was stubborn a little bit though. I kept doing stuff. I'm like,
man, look, and you know what? And it's okay, because that's your process. That's what you got to go through. But look at where it's brought you to, and how you can really appreciate your husband for being the leader that he is, and being the man, you know, being the man that he is, you know. And so for me, I think that was something that I truly had to realize. And even when you said, like, I think you said something earlier, as in, like, you and your husband, y'all purpose was like connected. It's matched,
right?
You know, it's connected. And so he was saying all these things. You were getting prophecies and things like this, and you're like, who, me? No. But it's just like, you really don't understand how connected that really is. And so like, I've been speaking more, and I've been telling my husband, like, God is telling me to make sure that you are speaking, you know. And I'm like, he not just talking to me, you have to be speaking too, because God have you in such a leadership role for men, you know. And so, and now he's been speaking more. We've been doing our videos and things like that, but it's just like, we really don't understand how connected, you know, we truly are. And so I just appreciate y'all for just being open and just honorable.
Open, mommy. Thank you for joining us. And we got Drees in the building. You know, Drees always gonna be in the building.
He's rapping.
Period.
Brittany, thank you for joining us, Queen. We appreciate you.
Yes. This was a really good topic.
I thank God for you. You know, if there's some topics that y'all want us to, you know, dive in, put them in the comment section. We would love to hear from you all. Anything that you think, you know, would be a good topic for Kingdom Chicks that are reconstructed, you know, going through this journey. Any comments or, you know, topics that you want us to touch on, please let us know. We would love to, you know, touch on the topics. Hey, we're open books, if you can't tell.
Absolutely.
We're open books.
We want you to come back, so we got to be authentic.
Yes, for sure. And y'all know what? But I think that we have to be having these authentic conversations.
No, seriously.
You know, people have to really understand, is like, you know, a lot of us have some similar experiences, but also just being able to hear how other people get through certain things, you know, because a lot of times what we go through isn't just for us,
right?
You know, but it's always a blessing and always a pleasure to, you know, be here and talking with y'all.
Absolutely. Okay, so we got a few. I gotta write these down, y'all. So Drees talk about forgiveness.
Oh, that's huge.
That's big. That's a big one.
Absolutely.
Hold on.
I can go on and on talk about people I had to forgive.
Listen, I'll make you do it. Brittany said, females embracing kingdom femininity. All right, Brittany. Yes. Oh, you going in, sis? All right.
Look, we just talked about femininity in one of the rooms that I host. That me and a few of my friend coaches, we do every Wednesday. That's Wednesday and Thursday. That's one of the things that we just talked about, is like how to step in your femininity. So that's like super powerful, and I think that's something that we as the world as women have lost touch with.
That spirit gotta die. It really
that's really good. It do. All right, y'all. Well, thank you all for joining us. As we said, we were missing our sister Tremayne, the Saved Babe, but she will be back with us next Monday. So y'all come back and y'all join us next Monday. We will have some more good topics to touch on. Listen, y'all, just real transparent discussion on what it is to be a kingdom chick, what it is to be a Kingdom Chick Reconstructed. All right. So we thank you all for joining us, and we will see you guys back here next Monday at 8 p.m. Yeah. Make sure you follow us on social media platforms, please. And we would love to hear from you. All of our episodes will be uploaded on all podcast platforms. So they're generally uploaded this evening. You will be able to go back and share them with your friends and family tomorrow. They will be on all platforms. All right. Y'all have a good night.
All right.
I'm going to end the broadcast.